Teen Talk, my favorite time of the day. Somin.
Hello, I'm Somin. I'm 15 years old and I live in Korea. Please tell me about your favorite time of the day. You can also show me some pictures.
Diego.
Hi, my name is Diego and I live in Seville, Spain. My favorite time of the day is lunchtime. My school usually ends around 2 p.m. On most days, my family gets together and has a big, long lunch. We usually have soup, vegetables, and meat. We also have a dessert like churros. After lunch, we usually take a siesta, a short nap. Both my father and I like to sleep under the tree in our garden.
Tabin.
Hi, my name is Tabin and I live near the Gobi Desert in Mongolia. I'm happy when I ride my horse. Horses are important in our culture. Almost everyone can ride a horse in Mongolia. In fact, we say we ride horses before we can walk. I take good care of my horse. I often brush him and give him some carrots. I enjoy riding, especially in the evening before the sunset. Then the sky is red and everything is peaceful.
Musa.
Hi, I'm Musa, and I live in Nairobi, Kenya. My favorite time of the day is our running practice time. My friend Tamu and I are on the school's running team. I am happiest when I run with Tamu. Our practice time isn't boring because we can see many animals. Many runners from Kenya won races in the Olympics. I'm so proud of them. Both Tamu and I want to be like them.
Fun at the State Fair of Texas. Hi, I'm Eddie Parker. I live in Dallas, Texas. Now, my family and I are at the State Fair of Texas. The fair is over 130 years old, and it's the biggest fair in the USA. I'll show you around. Follow me. Look at the goats here. This is a goat show. My younger brother, Steve, entered it. The goats in the show don't have to be big, but they have to be healthy. They have to produce a lot of milk to win a prize. Steve took good care of his goat, Bonnie. Wow! Steve and Bonnie won a white ribbon, third prize. I'm so proud of them. Now it's lunchtime, so we're eating fair food. Mom and Dad are eating nachos and fajitas. They're Tex-Mex food. Tex-Mex food is a combination of food from Texas and Mexico. Dad's face is getting red because his fajita is too spicy. Steve and I are eating corn dogs. They taste great. Let's move on to the quilt contest. Quilting has a long tradition. In the past, fabric was expensive. To make a blanket, people had to collect small pieces of fabric and sew them together. Grandma and her friends had a quilting bee every week. They had to work on the quilt for the contest for over 6 months. Look, it's very colorful and unique. The most exciting part of the day is riding the Texas Star. It's a tall Ferris wheel. Wow! Steve and I are now on the top. I'm scared, but the view is amazing. I love living in Texas and going to the fair. Come to the fair someday.
Let's talk about upcycling.
Hello, club members. As you know, this year's Environment Day is about upcycling. Before we talk about each group's event idea for that day, I want you to understand the meaning of upcycling. Can anyone explain upcycling?
Yes. The word upcycling is a combination of upgrade and recycling.
Like recycling, upcycling is good for the environment. When you upcycle, you make new and better things from old things.
Good. Now let's talk about each group's idea for the event. Let's start with Pei's group.
My group wants to hold a transient show. Transient is a combination of trash and fashion. We'll use trash to make clothes. We want other students to become interested in upcycling through the show.
A trash and show sounds like fun. What about your group, Eric?
My group is going to make musical instruments from old things. We'll make drums from old plastic buckets. We'll also make a guitar from old boxes and rubber bands. We plan to play the instruments in a mini concert.
Thank you, Eric. Now, let's hear from Sumi's group.
My group will make bags from old clothes. For example, we'll use blue jeans. Look at this bag. This was made by Hajun, one of our group members. Isn't it nice? We'll make more bags and sell them on Environment Day. We're going to give all the money to a nursing home.
That's a great idea. Your ideas are all so creative. I want everyone to work hard for Environment Day.
Blue jeans bag. You need old blue jeans, sewing kit, pins and buttons, scissors, step. Cut off the legs of the blue jeans. Sew the bottom together. Make shoulder straps from one of the legs. Sew the straps to the top of the jeans. Decorate the bag with pins and buttons.
Animals that use tools. People once thought that only humans can use tools. Now, scientists are finding out that many animals can also use tools.
Macaque monkeys. If you go to a Buddhist temple in Lopburi, Thailand, watch out for the macaque monkeys. They may come to you and pull out your hair. They use human hair to floss their teeth. If you are lucky, you may see female monkeys that are teaching flossing to their babies. While the babies are watching, the female monkeys floss their teeth very slowly. This way, the baby monkeys learn to floss.
Octopuses. People don't usually think that octopuses are smart. However, octopuses are very smart, and they can also use tools. They use coconut shells for protection. When they can't find a good hiding place, they hide under coconut shells. Some octopuses even store coconut shells for later use. They pile the coconut shells and carry them to use later. How smart!
Crows. In Aesop's fable, The Thirsty Crow, a crow drops stones into a jar to raise the level of water. You may think this is just a story, but it is not. Scientists who were studying crows did an experiment. They put a jar with water in front of a crow. A worm was floating on top of the water. However, the water level was low, so the crow could not eat the worm. The crow solved the problem, just as in the fable. It dropped stones into the jar. If you think this bird is special, you're wrong. Scientists did the same experiment with other crows, and they all did the same too.
Be smart with your smartphones. Living without smartphones is difficult for many of us these days. However, unwise or too much use of smartphones can cause various problems.
Are you a smombie? All over the world, people are walking around like zombies. Their heads are down and their eyes are on their smartphones. We call such people smombies, smartphone zombies. If you are a smombie, you can have various safety problems. You may not see a hole in the street, so you may fall and get hurt. you may get into a car accident too. So, what can you do to prevent these problems? It's simple. Do not look at your smartphone while you are walking.
Do you have dry eyes or text neck? Smartphones can cause various health problems. One example is dry eyes. When you look at your smartphone, you do not blink often. Then your eyes will feel dry. Another problem you can have is neck pain. When you look down at your smartphone, the stress on your neck increases. Too much use of your smartphone, for example, too much texting can cause neck pain. We call this text neck. Here are some tips for these problems. For dry eyes, try to blink often. For text neck, move your smartphone up to your eye level. You can also do some neck stretching exercises.
How do you feel when you don't have your smartphone with you? Do you feel nervous when your smartphone is not around? Do you feel sad when you check your smartphone and there is no text message? If your answers are yes, you may have smartphone addiction. There are various things you can do to prevent this. For example, turn off your smartphone during meals or meetings. You can talk to people instead of texting them. Same story, different paintings. We often find different paintings with the same subject. An example is The Flight of Icarus by Henri Matisse and The Fall of Icarus by Marc Chagall. They are both about the same Greek myth. The Greek myth of Icarus. Daedalus was a great inventor. King Minos liked Daedalus' work so much that he wanted to keep Daedalus with him forever. Daedalus, however, tried to leave, so the king kept him and his son, Icarus, in a tall tower. Daedalus wanted to escape. One day, Daedalus saw birds flying.
Wings! I need wings!
He shouted. Daedalus then gathered bird feathers and glued them together with wax. When the wings were ready, he warned his son.
Don't fly too close to the sun. The wax will melt.
Daedalus and Icarus began to fly. Icarus was so excited that he forgot his father's warning. He flew higher and higher, and the wax began to melt.
Oh no, I'm falling.
Icarus cried out. Icarus fell into the sea and died.
Two different paintings. Matisse and Chagall both deal with the same subject in their paintings, but they are different. First, in Matisse's painting, you can see Icarus flying, but in Chagall's painting, the boy is falling. This difference comes from the different ideas that the two painters had. Matisse thought that Icarus was brave and adventurous. In contrast, Chagall thought that Icarus was foolish. Second, Matisse's painting is very simple, but Chagall's painting has many details. In Matisse's painting, there are only Icarus and some stars. Furthermore, Icarus's body has just a simple outline. In contrast, Chagall painted many people and houses in addition to Icarus. This difference comes from the different painting styles of the two painters. Whose painting do you like more? People will have different answers because they may see the same thing in different ways.
The best new thing. Radha lived on a little world far out in space. She lived there with her father, mother, and brother Johnny. Radha's father and other people worked on spaceships. Only Radha and Johnny were children, and they were born in space. One day, Dad told Rada and Johnny.
We're going back to Earth tomorrow.
Rada and Johnny looked at Dad in surprise and floated towards him. Rada asked Dad,
What's it like on Earth?
Everything is different there. For example, the sky is blue.
answered Dad.
I've never seen a blue sky.
Said Johnny.
The sky is always black here.
Said Rada.
You don't have to wear your big heavy spacesuits because there is air everywhere. It's also hard to jump there because Earth pulls you down.
Said Dad.
What else?
Asked Rada.
There are hills and they are covered with soft green grass. You can roll down the hills,
Answered Mom.
Dad, have you ever rolled down a hill?
Asked Rada.
Yes, it's really amazing.
Answered Dad. Johnny was thirsty, so he opened a milk container and shook it. The milk floated in the air and formed balls. Johnny swallowed the balls.
Johnny, if you drink milk that way on Earth, you'll get wet,
said Mom. Later that night, Rada and Johnny talked a long time about Earth. It was exciting to think about all the new things they were going to see and do. There was one new thing Rada and Johnny really wanted to do. They thought about it all night and didn't tell Mom and Dad about it. It was their secret. The next day, Rada's family got on a spaceship.
It's going to be a long trip,
said Mom.
That's all right. I'm so excited,
said Rada. The spaceship finally landed.
Dad, it's difficult to walk on Earth,
said Rada.
I know. Earth is pulling you down,
said Dad. Rada and Johnny couldn't float anymore. That was the first new thing.
What's that sound?
Asked Rada.
A bird is singing,
said Mom.
I've never heard a bird sing,
said Rada.
And I've never felt the wind,
said Johnny. These were all new things. Rada and Johnny ran up the nearest hill. At the top, they looked at each other and laughed. Then they lay down on the soft green grass and rolled down the hill. That was their secret.
This is the best new thing of all,
shouted Rada and Johnny. And they ran up to the top of the hill again.
An interview with Park Byung-sun. On May 27, 2011, 297 books of Uigui, a collection of royal books the French army took in 1866, came back to Korea. The person behind this return is Dr. Park Byung-sun, a historian who spent her whole life searching for Korean national treasures abroad. Can you tell me how you became interested in Uigui?
I studied history in college. I went to France to continue my studies in 1955. As you know, the French army took many of our national treasures in 1866. I wanted to find them while I was studying there. Uigui was one of them.
You found 297 books of Uigui in the National Library of France in Paris. Please tell me how you found them.
As soon as I became a researcher at the National Library in 1967, I began to look for Uigui. After 10 years, in 1977, I finally found the books. I think I looked at more than 30 million books.
I'm sure you were very excited when you found the books.
Yes, I was. but more difficulties were waiting for me. I thought that the books should be returned to Korea, but my bosses at the library didn't like that idea. They even thought that I was a Korean spy and fired me. After that, I had to go to the library as a visitor, so it was not easy to do research on Uyghur. However, I didn't give up. For more than 10 years, I went to the library every day to finish my research. I wanted to show people the value of Uyghur.
The results of your research were published as a book in Korea in 1990. Many Koreans became interested in Uyghur because of your book.
Yes. In 1992, the Korean government asked the French government for its return, and finally, the 297 books are here now.
Before I finish this interview, I'd like to ask you about Jikji, a book that changed the history of printing.
I found it in my first year at the library. I knew right away that it was very special. I worked hard to prove its value and finally succeeded. At a book exhibition in Paris in 1972, Jikji was displayed as the oldest book in the world that was printed with movable metal type.
Dr. Park, thanks to your hard work, Jikji and Uyghur were found, and all Koreans thank you for that.
I hope people will become more interested in our national treasures abroad and work for their return.